everybody, welcome back to Hammers and Dice. Today it's just John and I. We just
Hello.
want to do a bit of a recap of the Palm Springs miniature reveals that we just got. So let's jump in. Custodes, we got them. I think it's going to be like an entirely plastic Custodes range at this point, except maybe like the super heavy flyers. I don't see those coming in plastic anytime soon, but
Yeah. Hopefully we get the Terminator soon too, but
yeah, I mean, I think given the fact that they did the Venatari, I would have been like, okay, if they're just doing the dreadnoughts and updated, shield hosts, like maybe they're not touching the other stuff. But I think if they're doing the Venatari, they're going to do the Terminators as well.
yeah.
But yeah. So, what are your initial thoughts?
I did not expect this. We knew Custodes was coming, but
Yeah, I mean, in their preview, they had like
they would just like make the plastics.
So.
Yeah, I thought they would just make the resin stuff plastic. I didn't realize they would totally resculpt the infantry, which they look amazing.
Yeah.
The one thing I noticed is they look like the old classic art. So with the slim features, the cone heads, which are kind of funny, and the proportions too. So these guys are larger than the current Custodes that we have. They're scaled with the new scale, so they look properly imposing.
I was a little worried because remember, what was it, a year or so ago, they did for 40K, they had that Custodes shield captain that looks terrible, like the super derpy shield captain with like the Melta.
Yeah, with the because he looks very
his chest plate like is such a weird looking model. Like the proportions are all off. So I'm glad that they did not continue with that design because I hated the look of that thing so much.
Yeah, the new one looks amazing. The new shield captain.
Oh yeah, and I think we'll address the elephant in the room. Yes, Custodes can be female now. I mean, this is not something that's new. I think the last couple of years they've been dropping this into the lore, and there was that animation, that had the female custodian in it, and
yeah, even in the scouring book, they had a new female custodian.
Yeah,
so it's here.
I think you can argue about if they added it the best way. I don't know what the best way to add something like this would be. If you're really upset about this, you have to take a look and be like, GW has retconned so much shit over the years, and most of the time they do it the exact same way. They don't necessarily create some clever lore tie-in. They just drop a new book, and in that new book, things are different. Like Space Marine late founding chapters have gone from having one Legion be their primogenitor in one book, and then there's a White Dwarf, a couple of years later, and it's a different one. And that's just happened. That's happened quite a few times over the years.
Yeah, like even in Heresy, like the Kratos is one where suddenly there was no mention of the Kratos tank because it didn't exist in the real world, right? And then second edition drops with the Kratos, and suddenly we got Kratos battle tanks in the novels,
So yeah, I mean, if you're really upset about this, don't pretend that it's because you're upset with how GW handled it, because they've handled a lot of shit the exact same way.
Yeah, I think there's been way more egregious lore retcons than Custodians can be girls, like especially in the Heresy.
Yeah, if you don't want female Custodians in your list, whatever. They're all wearing helmets. No one's gonna know or care.
Yeah.
To be honest, if you're complaining about it, like I don't care, dude. Your sexism is showing real hard. Just like if you're gonna bitch at us in the comments about this, we'll just block you because we don't think it's even worth a discussion at this point. The discussion's been had. GW's not changing their mind. They very clearly put a lot of time and effort and money into sculpting these female custodian heads, and it's over. If you don't like it, like
this is not the hobby. Like, I mean, this is kind of harsh. Like, then maybe the hobby isn't for you anymore because this isn't. In Arbiter, Ian made a video about rage baiting in Warhammer YouTube, and he touched on something really interesting where it's like, this is technically Games Workshop's game. So, I mean, here's the thing. You could play 40K or 30K or AOS or Fantasy in your way. I mean, I think One Page Rules is a system where you could take any 40K sci-fi models and then play your own game with a rule set. It's miniatures agnostic. And you can still do that. Like, no one's saying, oh, you got to accept female custodians or you can't buy Warhammer product. You still can, if you want to do your own thing in your corner, whatever. Like, we're not gonna break down your door and say you got to do it this way, but I think it's pointless complaining online or making this a big deal, because Games Workshop is the one that makes the decisions when it comes to lore changes like this.
Yeah.
Like, you're not, no amount of complaining will. I mean, the only way this is gonna get reversed is if tomorrow suddenly, like, Games Workshop sees a massive decrease in sales across the board, and I don't think it's gonna happen. I think most people probably just don't care that there's female custodians.
Yeah, not at all. Again, this is one of those things where I think what we see, unfortunately, is a minority complaining very loudly and making it seem like more of the community is upset than actually is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's enough of that. We've made our opinion clear. If you don't like it, don't watch us. That's fine. we're okay with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get into the specifics. The first thing they talk about is the Legio Custodes battle group, which is going to be a shield captain, Arachnus Caladius battle tank, one of the dreadnoughts. I forget what this one is called. It's the
Achilles.
And then one Sentinel Guard Sodality and one Custodian Guard Sodality, which like 6 guys each. Which like this is like,
and that's new actually. I want to point that out. They're now in 6-man squads or 6-man boxes, kind of like the Terminators. So
I mean, I'll be curious. Obviously the Liber is going to be dropping with this stuff right away from just looking at the miniatures and even some of the stuff on this page. You can tell some of the rules are going to be different. So who knows what the minimum squad size is going to be? I mean, it'll probably still be 3.
I think it's going to be 3, yeah.
Because there's such expensive models. But for instance, the Magisterium Vexilla in the PDF right now, you lose your weapon if you take the Magisterium Vexilla. And in one of these, in the picture, the model with the Vexilla is modeled with a sword. So clearly you're going to be allowed to take a weapon again. There was something else. I believe that they're increasing I think they're increasing the transport capacity of the Coronis, because let me see, because they're saying you can take 7 guys.
7 guys.
And they're bulky 2 each, which is transport capacity 14. Right now it's transport capacity 12. So that's pretty great also.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm sure there's going to be some other changes as well. I think the big question is going to be, are they also going to be Vanguard? Are they going to have any special rules in relation to that?
I do hope. Oh, sorry. Finish your thought.
No, I was going to say, because right now it makes them a little one note unless you're allying them in to another force. Right now, basically the only way to play them is to just charge forward as quickly as possible and just try to kill your opponent before they score.
Yeah, I agree. That was what I was going to say. That I hope I hope they get to keep army-wide Vanguard somehow. Like, I think it's the ideal world, but I think also maybe they should have a mode where they lose Vanguard, right? Maybe your whole army has. I don't think they should get line. That's something I will say. I don't think Custodes should get line. I think they're so powerful.
Yeah,
and they kind of delete a lot of things in melee, except for most Terminators. But they're so powerful that I don't think they need to hold objectives really well.
Yeah, I mean, maybe having a Vexilla in the squad allows them to score, not like as line, but to score the normal number of points, something like that. Because because that's their biggest weakness, is not Vanguard being hard to score, but Vanguard making them not score full points from objectives is, I think, needs to go away. Yeah, because right now the Vexillas are weird. Basically, if you're within 8 inches of an objective and your opponent's trying to score it, they have to pass the leadership tests. And if they don't, they can only score a maximum of 1 point, which sounds kind of cool, but in practice is almost useless. I mean, even a tactical squad is more likely than not going to pass their leadership 8 and score. So it's not really, and it's not like they have fear or anything unless you're taking Valdor and it's the first turn. Yeah. So it's kind of pointless. So I'm guessing that's going to be one of the things that's updated. Who knows? But yeah, so that's the box, which I'm assuming that's going to be released first, along with the Liber. Yeah. And then they're also releasing the other version of the Caladius, which, at least in the PDF, I think the Arachnus version is better. We'll see if they're updating the gun rolls, but I think the other Caladius, its gun is not as efficient. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right now. And then we're also getting the Galatis Contemptor as well, which I love the model. I have had terrible luck with him in my lists. I feel like he even though he's got the 4-up inroad, which is great, I never pass it. It always dies so quickly in all my games. But yeah, there's that, and then the Venatari, which look pretty interesting. This is the one sculpt where I think the resin one looks better, the Venatari. I like the resin wings better for the Venatari, I think.
Yeah, I actually never liked Venatari. I'm a hot take, but I've never liked Venatari ever since they were released. I mean, I don't think they're lame. They're just super not for me.
Yeah, I mean they're hard to play. The fact that they have a 3-up.
Yeah, that's what turned me off when they first came out.
Because they're still very expensive. And sure, if they manage to get into combat, they're killy, but they're a little bit too vulnerable. Especially this edition where you can't assault out of deep strike.
Yeah.
Their invuln is still just the 6-up. So I feel like these guys should have like a shroud as well or something like an additional buff that would make them a little bit more survivable. Because right now they're just a little bit too expensive for how easily they die.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I mean, same thing with the jet bikes. I'll be interested to see if we're getting the plastic jet bikes as well.
I think so.
And then the Coronis is the last thing, right?
Yes, that's coming out that we know of.
I literally just, for that competitive event I finished the resin Coronis, which is like a giant block of resin. So I'm like a little jealous of like, oh, this thing's probably like 5 pounds lighter.
It's so weird feeling, because I played a lot of 1.0 and there was only resin vehicles there. And I just sold my Thousand Suns army and I was handling my old Sicarans. And I thought at that time I just finished painting my new Sicarans, and I'm like, yo, this is so weird. Just holding the old resin blocks with guns and then the new plastic blocks. And it's like this, it's feeling them is so weird. It felt kind of like I for a split second almost wanted to weigh my plastic tanks, because it was a strange feeling holding the plastic tank and not feeling that heft. So yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird when something is like, I mean, they look pretty similar. That's the thing. When something looks this almost exactly the same, the weight differential, it just weirds you out a little bit. It's like, why is this so much heavier? But yeah, I mean, what's your favorite, I think, for the Custodians? Like, what's your favorite new plastic?
I mean, for me, I think the basic guard. When I played Custodians, I did it because I really like the basic guard squad with the spear, and they freaking nailed that look. And I really like the old ones. I have some painted, and the new ones look so. And again, it goes back to the old art. If you look at John Blanche Custodians or old school 30K Custodians art, they look very skinny and slim, and this nails it. Because I remember when the new ones came out, there was a lot of not complaining, but kind of comments that, oh, like these plastic models don't look like the art, but now they do. Like, clearly that they've taken the design avenue of the old art and used that for these new models. Which,
and notice how they got rid of like the silver on the faceplate.
Yeah,
which I never particularly loved. I mean, I will say the only complaint that I have, which is not about the design necessarily, it's about the stances, which is similar to the old plastic Custodians. I don't love how a lot of them are just kind of like standing there with their weapons down, especially like you're placing them. It's one thing if you're like, oh, I'm never gonna play with them. They're cool sentinels, and I'm just having my display case, and like that looks good in that situation. But like when you're playing on a tabletop with them and they're in the thick of battle, and all of your models are just kind of standing straight up with their weapons at their side, it's a little bit less immersive for me. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, I saw that. I was watching a game. It was a 40K game with the new Blade champion. You know what I'm talking about? The guy with the 2 swords.
Yeah, I love that. That's one of my
favorite. That's a great pose. But he's next to like the other Custodians. I think it was Wardens, the robed guys from 40K, and they're just standing there. And I saw that. I'm like, oh, this guy is like in the thick of it, and his buddies are just standing there. So yeah, definitely more display pose, which I get fits the Custodian theme. But we're playing a war game, and it would be cool to see them do some some moves, right?
I'm curious. My assumption is that the regular guard squads are probably not going to be super posable, but I'm curious for the shield captain if she's going to have more options than just the sword and shield.
I think it's just sword and shield.
You think it's just the sword and shield?
Yeah.
And again, it's like I wonder if that's just going to be a Paragon blade, or if they're bringing back like Meridian blades or what. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with that.
See, the rage-inducing move is if they reduce her options to just a sword and shield, and then we could complain.
I wouldn't love that. Although the way it is in the PDF, most of the options kind of suck. You're either taking the Paragon Blade or the Paragon Spear in the PDF anyways. So I'm like, are you really going to give her a worse weapon just because she can take it? Like, probably not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, more options are never a bad thing. Like, even if they're not necessarily the best. But I love that shield she has is really cool.
Oh yeah, this model is amazing.
That's probably, I think she's my favorite of the new release. I'm hoping, even though I agree with you, probably not. I'm hoping that the box comes with a Paragon Spear option or something for her. Even though I'm assuming probably not. But it's a pretty cool looking model.
Maybe they'll release a Tribune later on with a different org gear.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Also, something really quick that they mentioned before you go into the other stuff is Sisters of Silence. Straight up said that, like, they're getting stuff in the future, which I think echoes what I've always told people about Warhammer. You know, like, is X thing coming out? And Games Workshop intends to exist forever. So logically speaking, they're gonna make models for everything.
The question is how soon they're gonna come out.
Exactly.
So and if the profiles in the Liber are going to be similar to the PDF, or if they're expanded, I think will be a good indication of how quickly they're planning on updating the sisters.
Yeah.
Because at least in the live stream, I don't know if you were paying attention to the questions, because someone in the questions asked about the sisters, and they're basically like, they were evasive about whether new sisters models were coming. They're basically like, they might be coming in the future, but it kind of sounded to me like there wasn't a plan for them to be released very quickly.
Yeah, that's what the guy said. They're in the pipeline, but nothing to show. And they even said that the army list is only going to be Custodes, and they're gonna. And I think that's what the case is already. But they're doubling down on. There's no more Talons of the Emperor. There's just Legio Custodes and Sisters of Silence, whatever they're called.
It's been like that. Second edition was like that as well. So I think that's just kind of where their heads at, which is a little bit weird considering that the lore is like these two forces were designed to fight together in synchronicity, and
Yeah.
I mean, I don't necessarily care that much. It's not, especially this edition, it's not too hard to ally it in the sisters if you want to do that with your force. But yeah, hopefully when we get the Liber, it will be, the sisters will have a little bit more love than they had in the PDF.
Yeah.
Because that would be unfortunate if it's just like, oh, it's just these two PDF units, Engineer Crawl. And then I'll be curious also if they make any updates to the assassins.
Yeah, they're kind of mid right now. They're just not exciting to use, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever actually seen someone run an assassin in game.
I ran one in LVO that first year. I ran a Calidus because she had that rule where you can't target her unless she's fought.
Yeah, and then you just,
I was using her as a counter to last
and like, you can't swim.
Yeah.
You would do that.
Well, I was like, because I was playing with Blood Angels, I had no counter to last cannon, so I'm like, I guess I'll paint a freaking Calidus. And it worked. Like I was able to tie up some heavy support squads for a turn or two, so that was cool.
Yeah, I feel like the only way to deal with those last edition is to hope that they were somewhat close to another enemy model, and then you could put a blast marker so at least covered them somewhat.
Yeah.
With one template, because other than that, there's no way to hurt them.
Yeah.
I guess you put your own tank next to them and hope it blows up. You could do that too.
And then they die.
So I'm very excited. Obviously, there was no release date for this. Hopefully sooner than later. I'm very excited to get my hands on the Liber more than anything, because unfortunately I have the resin versions of all this stuff pretty much.
Yeah.
So like I don't know if I'm even gonna get any of it. I might get the battle group. We'll see, but I don't really need any of it right now.
I want the battle group. I just don't want the tank. Not because I don't like it. I just have no desire to paint at the moment. But I fucking love the infantry. They're so cool. Yeah. I'm for sure getting a box of if not the battle group, I'll for sure get the basic guard squad and the shield captain. Oh,
one last thing I actually did want to mention. I don't like the studio team's painting scheme for the Custodes. It feels so flat to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially on the larger models, like the tanks and the dreadnoughts. Like, it almost makes them. I mean, obviously, I know they're plastic, but it makes them look plasticky. They don't look. They almost don't look
the heavy metal style is not doesn't look as grimy, or it looks too perfect. Like, and this is the case for all of their models, I think.
Yeah, I mean, not that I'm like the most amazing painter ever, but like the scheme that I did that makes the gold darker and it has tones to it. I feel like it makes them more menacing, and it gives you more of like the shades to make them pop out a little bit, like the gold, like when it is bright. So yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of this color scheme. I mean, I know there's a lot of really cool color schemes you can do with Custodians that aren't just, you know, straight up gold. So I'll be excited to see someone who does like, what's the white sodality? Like
solar watch, I think, or something.
Yeah, the solar.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see someone do like the solar watch. I think that
those are super cool.
Okay, so I think we're good on Custodians now.
Yeah.
And then the glaive. I think no one is surprised by this, right?
Yeah,
it's what they did last edition, right? Where it's like, oh, here's a Rhino chassis, and here's every tank that comes out in the Rhino chassis.
Yep.
You know, so I think they're going to do the same thing with, you know, with this same chassis. They're like, every tank that has a big gun with this chassis, we're going to see in plastic come out sooner than later. I mean, what do you feel about the glaive?
I mean, I have one. I don't think it's primed yet, but I have a built unpainted glaive, and I think it's dope. I mean, gameplay wise, they should have kept here's my hot take with super heavies coming from playing 1.0. I think they should be OP, but just cost a lot of points.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather the game be in a place where the really I think the same goes for Primarchs. I'd rather have the super big powerful things be super big and powerful, and then you just talk with your opponent. Hey, I want to bring a super heavy. Let's play that kind of game. I want to bring a Primarch. Let's play that kind of game.
Well, that's where the point restriction comes in.
Exactly. Yeah.
Make these things really good and really expensive, so you can't use them in a 3K game.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, that's all you need to do. Like a Primarch, I've said this a million times. A Primarch should be 1,000 points. They should be fucking OP as hell.
Yeah.
That way, if you're gonna bring them, it's gonna be a huge fucking game.
Yeah, and they get to do cool stuff, not like a glaive or even I mean, I don't think a fell blade is bad. I don't think a glaive is bad, but for a giant vehicle, it doesn't not very
up to the super heavy what you would expect a super heavy to be.
Exactly, yeah.
And it definitely bugs me that their rear armor is like 13. I don't understand that at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the gun looks really cool.
It's cool.
I don't think the glaive. I mean, if you're gonna bring a super heavy, I don't think I would bring the glaive. I don't think that the gun is worth it. It definitely looks really cool.
Oh yeah, I think it's freaking awesome. And if I don't have a resin one, I would probably pick this one because it's such a 30K tank, right? And this comes from a time where Space Marines, even now in 40K, Space Marines don't have super heavies in 40K.
Yeah.
And having this giant Space Marine Bane blade with a Martian Death Ray main cannon is just super cool. So,
oh yeah, I mean, it looks beautiful. I'm actually very excited about the Whirlwind. I'm curious if it's going to be better than the Scorpius. If it's going to basically replace the Scorpius as like the go-to barrage tank. You know, like is it going to be what the Scorpius was last edition, where it's like you roll up with three Whirlwinds and everyone's gonna be like, oh fuck you.
Because it doesn't have rules, right? It doesn't have rules, right?
No, it looks like the rules are gonna come in this journal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very curious what, you know, because it looks like there's different. I think they said there's different missile types, and at least one of them, I'm pretty sure they said like causes panic.
Yes. So it's gonna be a cool, because I think right now I don't know if there's a barrage piece that does statuses.
Well, what is the one that like everybody wants? That's like it's the resin tank that's always sold out.
It's not the Arc Ritter doesn't have. I don't think it has the other one, the Solar Ox one that Space Marines can take. I think it's the Medusa. That one has pinning barrage.
Okay.
So it would be cool to have an option that's not a Solar Ox vehicle, like a Space Marine one would be cool.
Yeah.
And the Whirlwind.
The Scorpius has been nerfed to unusability, in my opinion. I think its rules are so terrible this edition.
Which makes me think they should have made the Scorpius, gave it better, make it not a marine killer and make it a status machine, like a status artillery piece. But
which is one or the other. I feel like because last edition it was good at both killing things and pinning things, and they made it bad at both now. Like they should have been like, all right, this is going to be good at one or the other. Instead, they were like, oh, we're gonna make it a 3-inch blast, and it's kind of meh.
Yeah, And honestly, like I think I can speak for us here, but if you have a Scorpius and the whirlwind rules and the new rules are for the whirlwind are like good, I wouldn't mind having people just use your Scorpius.
Yeah, I mean, or I'll just get like a 3D printed turret.
Yeah, it's a missile rack on top of a Rhino.
Like, other than, like, it's the exact same.
Yeah,
it's like it's the Rhino chassis. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah,
it's the exact same setup. Literally the only difference is the actual turret. I guarantee you that this turret will slot easily on the Scorpius. You know.
Yep. Yeah. So like find a third-party turret or just use your Scorpius. Like I wouldn't mind if someone was using their Scorpius as this because it's still a missile thing, you know. But yeah, I hope it's neat. I hope it's playable and usable because okay, I will say this: the model looks kind of goofy in my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know
what it reminds me of?
Rack makes the Rhino look tiny, if that makes sense.
For whatever reason, it reminds me a little bit of those like the old Terminator missiles in like 40K, like the single. You know
the old Cyclone missiles.
Like the old Cyclone missiles, which I always thought looked kind of goofy too.
Yeah,
it has that same vibe to it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they made it. It's whirlwinds are cool and more plastic tanks. Why not? I might rather have plastic sabers, but you know, at least it's probably easier to make because it's the Rhino chassis. So.
Oh yeah, because they're like, oh, it's the same chassis. We're just throwing in a different, weapon sprue, basically.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm actually very interested in this Journal Tactica, the mailed fist. Like, I had no idea this. Like, I was not expecting a new. I mean, I knew there was going to be another journal at some point. Like a journal dedicated to super heavies is pretty cool. I'm very curious to see what these super heavy detachments are going to look like.
Mm-hmm. I wonder,
like, how big does the game need to be able to even accommodate that, right?
Yeah. I mean, it seems like they're going to have rules for like apocalypse style multiplayer games.
Yeah. So, like, I don't think you could fit 2 super heavies into a 3K game, right?
No, I mean, real super heavies, not like a Typhon or a Cerberus,
Yeah, but like if you had a glaive and a fell blade, you would not be able to bring them both in a 3K game.
Yeah.
And then last, I mean, I think we can talk a little bit about the 40K, the Red Corsairs release.
Oh my gosh, yeah, the Raiders squad.
This is Raiders squad, yeah. I think we both we were watching it. We're like, oh, Black Shields.
Yeah, Black Shields, late Heresy Traders. It's because it takes the best from the Chaos Space Marines, like that kind of ramshackle. They have different mixed equipment. The belt-fed guns, the little fetishes, like their knives and like skulls. But it doesn't have the overtly chaos design stuff, like the stars, the teeth. Like a lot of Chaos Marines have like teeth growing out of their armor, so there's none of that here.
Yeah.
And the joke I made, like, these are just de-chaosified Chaos Marines. The Games Workshop did the work for you.
Yeah, I mean, you could swap out a few bits, and these fit right in to like a Heresy army.
Yeah, premium conversion bait, whether it's like a command squad, a vet squad, or just if you want a bunch of consoles, they're super cool for that because they're also slightly taller. I think the Chaos Marines are slightly taller than 30K Marines.
So we're gonna go for Alone and Forgotten, which has been super hard today.
Yes,
this could be your Centurion.
There you go. Yeah, but no, this is an awesome release, and just I think it reminds people complain like, oh, Games Workshop doesn't like conversions. Like, nah, dude, like Games Workshop likes conversions because it means you're buying more kits. If you want to mix this in a squad, you're buying, and your 30K squad, you're easily buying 2 boxes. But Games Workshop is more than happy to take your money for your conversion bits. So
they love conversions. They don't love 3D conversions. They love when you buy their shit.
Yeah. You gonna talk about the mech stuff, the random mech stuff from this week?
Oh, the Skitarii stuff?
Yes, Skitarii, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Did you have any specific thoughts on that? I mean,
there released some rules. So big thing for the Battle Pilgrims is they have 2 wounds toughness 4 with a 4-up save and a 6-up invul, and they have line 1, or they could get line 1 or Vanguard 3. So I think they're an interesting kind of unit to add in Mechanicum armies because I mean Mechanicum kind of have line, but it's very clunky. Like you need a tech priest and then a unit, so it's hard to. It's not like Solar Ox or obviously tactical squads where you can just have this unit sit in the back or take an objective and not think about it. And I think Battle Pilgrims fulfill that role. How good they are, I think I think just based on that's already pretty solid. And even the Vanguard, I think Vanguard and a shooting unit has a lot of game because you're able to wipe units from objectives and they can't movement reaction away, right? So I think that's going to be pretty good that they can pick from line or Vanguard. Now,
Is
how
it a
good
thing
they
that
are, I think, will depend on the
before the
points.
game, you're just like, this unit's line, this unit's Vanguard?
Let's see. When you make your list. When you make your list.
When you make your list, you have to be like, okay,
Yeah.
this is a line unit.
Yeah.
That's cool. I wish that more units could do something like that.
Because you lose so much from having Vanguard, but I think the ability to have some units be Vanguard and another version be not Vanguard that's why I hope for Custodians. Maybe I hope there's a way for them to not just have Vanguard. Again, you don't need line, you just need to be able to score full points from objectives, and that would be cool.
Or at the least get an official, special rule or something that allows them to score a Vanguard even if a unit moved off the objective.
Yeah.
That's really, we've talked about this before, but that's really what hurts Vanguard so much, is that it's so easy to just be like, oh, Vanguard units coming, boop, I'm off the objective now. I reacted away, tough luck,
Honestly, like I thought about it more, and after playing games of Vanguard, that's really bad. But I think the worst thing about Vanguard is the fact that you can't score max points. Because if you shunt a unit off, like if they run away, right, but it's like a 3-point objective, you still get 3 points. But currently, if they run away and you cap it, well, you only get 1. Well, that sucks.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like if they have first turn, they score their 3 points plus an extra 2 for being lines. They get 5 points, and then you are, even if you're Vanguard 3, you're still not scoring as many points as they are. It's tough, and it's also, it de-incentivizes you as a Vanguard unit to even bother staying on the objective. It's like, well, I'm not going to get the points. I may as well just go kill this unit anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes you play a more bloody game by just being like, well, screw it. Like, what's the point of even sitting on this objective anymore?
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you're a World Eaters player, great. I mean, you're going to do that anyways. But for anybody else, it's a little bit frustrating.
Yeah, I think having an option would, if there's an easy fix for Vanguard, like have them turn it off. If you don't want to change the movement reaction thing, whatever, like give them a chance to turn the rule off. Because then it's like, at least your assault squads, you're not getting screwed, because they won't kill anything with that.
Yeah, it could be a rule where it's like Vanguard scores like a normal non-line unit, but if they score the Vanguard points, they can only get 1 point on the objective. Something like that.
Yeah.
So they're not getting like the Vanguard plus, 3 points on the objective.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, Skitarii being able to choose, great for them. And I didn't really see the rules for the HQ guy, but we'll be seeing that when the book drops. But I think the squad, I play Mechanicum, and I could see use for this in armies where you just have 1 or 2 squads holding back objectives or just being like objective holders. Or if you want to lean into it, get some more squads and give them the Vanguard rule, have them shoot their Volkites at tactical squads.
Yeah.
So yeah, that could be a fun thing to have in your forces. And also they updated the rules for the Myrmidon host. Didn't really change anything. The big thing was the default weapon. They have no default weapon anymore because the box, there's gonna be 2 boxes, I think, and this box that's coming out doesn't have Volkite. So a lot of people point out, which makes sense, that it would be weird for them to have the default weapon not available in one of the boxes. So they kind of just changed the data sheet where you can, there's no default weapon. You just pick a weapon you have. There's some people saying that, and I thought this as well, that you could only have 1 kind of gun for the whole squad. But after reading it more, I don't think that's the case because of the Legion veteran heavy support squad has the same wording, but everyone kind of accepted that they can mix and match weapons. And they also don't have the clause from the heavy support squad that says must have the same weapon at the end of the sentence. So just want to point that out for people that they can still mix and match weapons. I don't know if you want to mix and match weapons with the squad. Personally, I think this is a squad where you want to have the same kind of gun. So you're not, I think one of the guns, I guess if you want to add a dark fire to cause blind checks, but I'd rather just have a whole squad with dark fire and shoot things to death. But cool models.
Because I don't play Mechanicum, I feel like whenever I see Mechanicum releases, I'm like, oh, the models are cool, but I don't even look at the rules because like it doesn't make any sense to me.
Oh yeah, like Mechanicum, you look like there's so many things out of just the data sheet with like their not canticles, with their cyberthurgy and all these things and army building. Yeah, it's kind of hard playing Mechanicum.
Yeah, that's the nice thing is like when you're a Marine player, like all 18 legions are generally using the same weapons. You understand what everything is when you see it across the table. Then you're playing against Mech, and I'm like, what the fuck is that?
I mean, this is my maybe it's another hot take, but you know, I've seen people start 30K for several years now, and I really think that if you want to play 30K, you should just start with Space Marines because the game, because they're so basic, it's easy to learn the game. Versus if you play Mech is the same Mech example. Like Mech, you have their basic stats, and like I was saying, you have all these powers that are the army is balanced on the fact that you have these powers that can buff them and debuff the enemy. So you have to learn this other set of rules and interactions. And you know, there's like sub factions within the army. Like Myrmidons are a different faction than like the robots, so you can't technically have them in the same detachment. You got to take different detachments to like have them. So there's stuff like that, you know. And then you have Solar Ops where you have they have their own detachment rules where if you take this attachment, they get a buff, and if you take this attachment, this unit gets a buff. And then you have all these things, and you have all these Lord Marshal rules, and then you have Custodians where you got, you know, your whole army is Vanguard. Well, you know, it's kind of what we really learned the game, right? So really recommend if you're starting Heresy or thinking about starting Heresy, you should just probably play Space Marines and learn the game, and then branch out to the other factions. And it'll be, I think, an easier experience.
Especially if you're new to wargaming, you know, like if this is your first kind of foray into wargaming, Space Marines are the easiest to get into. That's what this game is designed for. But I will say this Custodians battle group is a lot of points. Like this is a great starter set. You know, I think like I'm trying to calculate, especially if you run the Shield Captain as a Tribune. I mean, again, you know, the points might change a little bit in the Liber, but I'm trying to do the math right now because each of these squads is 270 points. And then it'll be 250 for the Tribune, 250 for the Dreadnought. The, you know, Caladius is 235. I mean, that's, you know,
almost 2K.
Yeah.
That's
about as good as you're gonna get from a battle group starter box.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like the Wars of Chaos thing for Old World, where I think 2 Wars of Chaos battle groups is like a full army. So yeah, 2 of these boxes is kind of a full army. I think it easily make 3,000 points with 2 of these.
Yeah, and honestly, it's not like a lot of the other battle boxes where you get a couple of tactical squads and like that's not a well-rounded list. With Custodians, you don't really need a well-rounded list. They don't have enough units to be well-rounded. You know, like if you have a few different squads of Sentinel Guards and you have a couple of Dreadnoughts and a couple of tanks, like that's about as much as you need to tackle most, you know, opponents. Yeah. So that's a pretty solid force here. But
gosh, this release is so good. Where's my demons? Where's my one-way box? It's not actually happening, but
yeah. I mean, that hopefully someday soon that will happen. That will be very cool.
I mean, I think Ruin Storm Plastic is more likely than Sisters at this point, unfortunately.
Yeah, and a few people in our group have been saying like we want like a raw character so badly for Custodians.
Coolest,
You know, don't get me wrong, we love Valdor, but like there's some cool characters for both the Sisters and the Custodians
it's all about Diocletian Chorus, so you could just insult everyone for being inferior to you.
There's even that one Forge World guy, which I don't like his model at all.
Oh, Zion Hill?
Yeah, but he doesn't have rules. Like he didn't have rules last edition either, and that's like a current model. Like they still sell the model. So I'm like, I don't understand that. He doesn't even have rules. The axe that he has doesn't even have rules in this edition. So I don't even know what you're supposed to run him as right now.
Yeah, I guess like a Paragon Spear, kind of, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, we just kind of wanted to do a little bit of a quick chat to talk over this new stuff and share our excitement. Let us know what you're excited about with these reveals, and we'll see you guys next time.
Later, everyone.
Bye.